All right. Speaking of getting through things, I've got some fact or fiction for you, Shaka.
All right.
So these are going to be bold questions that I'm going to put to you. They're from around the world of conversation, around the world of football to spark a little bit of conversation, obviously. So don't take them too literally.
All
This
right.
is just a little talking point. I want to know what you think when I say these following comments. We are starting with Manchester United. Manchester United are worse off under Ruben Amorim than Eric Ten Hag.
I fiction for me. I think you have to put this in perspective. This is not, by any stretch of the imagination, Ruben Amorim's team. He's trying to make it, trying to get the team to play his style of football. He's trying to get results with players that are not necessarily his signings. So I am going to go for that's fiction. I think Ruben Amorim will need to this time next year we'll have a better assessment of where he is or the job that he's doing. Just give him at least a summer and a winter and another winter transfer window. But nah, I'm not. I'm siding with Amorim here. I really am.
Okay, okay, like it. Okay, next. Virgil van Dijk is Liverpool's most important player. And we know that Thierry Henry thinks so here. Obviously, he's just renewed his contract for another 2 years. He'll be staying until the summer of
Mm.
2027 at Anfield. Most important player at Liverpool.
Um, oh boy. I, Liverpool's two most important players are Virgil van Dijk and Mo Salah. Um, and then the question is who I'm going to say that's fiction because I think in today's game you could easier get a world class centre half, but as many clubs have shown, there aren't many goal scorers available right now,
Okay.
and so I'm going to lean Mo Salah as being more important than Virgil van Dijk, which makes this statement fiction.
Fiction.
That
Obviously,
that that
you can
that
see why a statement like that comes up, though, because then you think of his
absolutely.
leadership skills too, right? We've been talking about leadership in today's show, and his is immense at Liverpool.
Yeah, listen, it's a photo finish between the two. If they were running 100, if this were a 100-meter race, it's a photo finish. But I give it to Mo Salah purely because I just don't think that there are many goal scorers out there, um, available or not. Whereas you could probably get not a Van Dijk center back, but you could get a better center back that you can get a goal scorer. Let me put it that way. So I'm leaning Mo Salah just in a photo finish.
All right. Next, Arsenal will win this year's Champions League.
Um, right now I'm going to say no, and it's a very narrow no. As we said right now, I would put PSG. I favor PSG over Arsenal, but again, just if you were going to ask me to give a percentage right now, I'd tell you 51-49 or 52-48. So it's close. I'm going into the final. If Arsenal do get the better of PSG, going into the final against whoever's on the other side
Barca
between
or Inter.
Barca and Inter. Um, I again, whoever comes through that, I'd probably say exactly the same 51-49, 52-48 in favor of Barca or Inter. So by nature of those percentages, I'm going to have to say no. But again, this is a photo finish for all four, and rightly so. We're talking the semi-finals of the Champions League. It's not supposed to be an awful lot in this. There's not supposed to be a clear-cut favorite.
No. Next, Carlo Ancelotti would be better off going to manage Brazil.
I'm sure every single Brazilian is hoping that. And what does better off mean? Listen, at Real Madrid, you're expected to win silverware, regardless. That's just the minimum standard. Um, More, it's a standard that no other club would employ. We wouldn't be having this conversation about Carlo Ancelotti and his future if it weren't Real Madrid, or more to the point, if it weren't Florentino Perez. But here we are. Similarly, though, every time Brazil walk into a tournament, they're expected to win it, regardless. Regardless, Brazilians will expect their team to be playing in the 2026 World Cup final, despite their struggles. That's just who they are. That's just what the expectation is. So Ancelotti may very well be just jumping from the frying pan into the fire as far as these. So this is much of a muchness. Again,
Okay.
another photo finish between this.
Well, we'll have a photo finish today. Okay.
Right?
Next up, we are talking more PSG.
Okay.
PSG are the most complete team in the world right now.
I'm going to go for a yes. I think where PSG certainly is better than the likes of Arsenal. Arsenal don't have that out and out centre forward, out and out finisher. I think PSG have more tools, certainly offensively, than Arsenal. They're better defensively than Barcelona. So I'll say the most complete. I'm going to go for fact.
PSG.
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
See,
next
that wasn't a
question.
photo. Oh, well, it was
I
nearly
know,
a
I
photo
was saying
finish.
you could have said it's a
I'll be
photo
honest.
finish.
I'll be honest. It's very close to being a photo
Yeah,
finish.
I know, it probably would be. I thought that in my own head. I thought he might get away with saying a photo finish here and I wouldn't challenge him. Okay, Arsenal need to win the Premier League more than the Champions League. Obviously, Arsenal want to win the Premier League this season, but when you think of the overall pressures that they have, which is more important?
Photo finish? Can I get away with photo finish? Listen,
I don't think so here, because it's not a photo finish between themselves and Liverpool, is it?
well, exactly. So, and that's the thing. They're not going to win. They're not going to win the Premier League. I think we have to accept that. There's far more chance of them winning the Champions League. So, as of right now, you do not sacrifice the Champions League where you are in the Champions League to throw all your eggs in the Premier League basket. That makes no sense. If the conversation is longer term that they need to win the Premier League more than the Champions League, again, Arsenal need to win. I'm going to say major silverware in one of these two to make sure and keep themselves in the conversation of Europe's big clubs in terms of attracting those talents that they need to consistently compete with the Liverpools and the Manchester Cities of last season, I'll add. But to do that, I think winning either the Premier League title or the Champions League goes a long way to accomplishing that. Goes a lot longer, a lot further than winning an FA Cup or sitting a Carabao Cup would. So again, if we are talking longer term, uh, this season Champions League, Premier League is not in conversation at all. Longer term, do Arsenal need to win the Premier League more than Champions League? All right, I'll go yes.
Okay. Now we get to a little Club World Cup on Fact or Fiction.
Oh man.
This summer's Club World Cup will be a success.
I'm gonna go fiction. I listen. My concern already is around how many games we're asking our top level players to play. You've got a Club World Cup this summer. You've got a World Cup this summer for those players coming from CONCACAF. You've got a World Cup next year. At some point, these players have got to have had a rest. You had the Euros last year. At some point, players are going to have to have a little bit of a rest here. And I think the tournament that you sacrifice in that 4-year calendar is the Club World Cup. They'll play. I'm not sure how much. I'm not sure how intently they'll take it. Maybe many clubs will just kind of use it as a preseason style tournament. And so as a result, you don't see the best of the best club teams in the world. I'm going to go fiction.
Okay. Lastly, Cristiano Ronaldo scored his first Premier League goal against Shaka Hislop.
What was that? What?
Is it fact or fiction?
Well, why you gotta bring that up, Kate?
It was on my
Why
list.
was that going to do with anything?
It
I'm
was on my
sitting
list.
here enjoying my Friday, my good Friday. I was eating hot cross buns 10 minutes ago.
And now you just cross.
And no, yeah, exactly, yeah. No, there's no buns. Wow. Why?
Listen,
I thought so
any
much
host
higher of
reads
you than
what's in
that.
the rundown. It's in the rundown.
No. This is your doing, Kay. This is entirely your doing.
I've not been here for a while, Shaq. I'm just doing what I'm
This is
told.
your doing, Kay. Now I have
Fact
to go
or
and have some
fiction?
more hot cross buns.
Fact or fiction?
It's a fact. It's a fact.
Was it a cross or was it a shot?
Why are you doing this to me, Kay? Why are you doing this to me?
You've got to work with me tonight as well,
I
Shaka.
think I know. I thought I knew you so much better. You know, I really
know.
did.
I'm sorry. You should have known now. You've known me too long to
I
not
was,
expect
I
any
was,
better
I was,
of me.
you know, I was going to bring a hot cross bun in for you, but no,